Merry Christmas, or should I say Merry Unboxing Day. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and today I have quite a large unboxing for you. I held off quite a while, as you can tell by the fact it's like almost the end of the month. These are all of the November picks. I've already started getting some of the December picks in, so that's exciting for me. But these two took a hot minute, so I was waiting on these stinkers. Holiday transit is a bit delayed, shipping and whatnot, so I give grace. I'm not mad at owlcrate for it, but that is why you're just not getting this video. But I'm very excited. I have not been buying books. Go me. I am kind of planning for my 2026 goals. I kind of want to eliminate some of these boxes, and I think mostly I'm going to be eliminating horror. And then we'll kind of do a trial run through the year to see like how I'm actually feeling towards things. I'm going to try to prioritize reading them in the year. It's kind of crazy, I know. Revolutionary thinking here. But my plan is to primarily have my books that I'm buying throughout the year be from subscription boxes, with a select 10, maybe to 20, depending on how the year goes, of pre-orders and like new releases I'm excited for. But try to only read backlist books from my library, Kindle, etc. Things that I'm paying for already, services like Everand, and try and get my backlist books from there so I'm not buying so much. That's kind of my goal moving forward into 2026. So we're going to keep the unboxings for now. I love doing these. They're some of my favorite videos to do on the channel. It just feels like a nice little surprise all the time. I love having little goodies to decorate my very sad shelves. Look at these. We need to unbox some books so that there's something to go here. But with all of that little ramble out of the way, let's start with right off the top. We've got the owlcrate horror pick for November. I don't think I've been spoiled for anything. And I'm sure I've seen something on Instagram, but I've been less on Instagram this month, so there's a chance I don't know anything. Here we have a book I don't think I've ever heard of. That would be a first for any horror box. So we are here. So here we have Dark Sisters by Christy de Meester. It's kind of hard for me to read, I'm so sorry, but look at that art. And this artwork is Dust Jacket illustration by Tess Hamilton at T.Hamilton.art. Incredible work. Look at that. Is that not kind of spooky scary? What the heck? Very pretty art. I like that it's that painting look to it. I like that, you know, they look a little possessed. In the end, we all wear our brutality like beautiful cloth in the name of love. Okay, I genuinely don't think I've ever heard of this, so let me read to you what this is about. In this fiercely captivating novel, horror meets historical fiction when a curse bridges generations, binding the fates of three women. Anne Bolton, a healer facing persecution for witchcraft, bargains with a dark enemy for protection, but the fire she unleashes will reverberate for centuries. Mary Shepherd, a picture-perfect wife in a suffocating community, falls for Sharon and begins a forbidden affair that could destroy them both. And Camilla Burson, a rebellious daughter of a preacher, defies conformist expectations to uncover an ancient power as her father's flock spirals into crisis. Three women, 3 centuries, one legacy of fury, love, and a power that refuses to die. How interesting. Other works by this author are Such a Pretty Smile, Beneath, and Everything That's Underneath. I don't think any of those are familiar to me. But this is a St. Martin's Press release. I do typically enjoy their stories. I do get a little nervous about generational stories and historical stories. I still have not even thought about reading V.E. Schwab's latest Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, just because it's not typically a story that aligns with me, but I am hopeful always when I get books like these. I always want to, of course, like the books that are given and picked, so hopefully this bodes well for us all. I haven't heard anybody talk about this, though. We'll have to wait and see what people are saying, what people are thinking. I do really like the cover. I think it's a beautiful addition. It definitely feels on the taller side for an owlcrate, but there's something just about owlcrate books recently, like within the last year or so, where they feel very boxy, but also like heavy in quality in a good way. But also, do you always want to pick up a book that's kind of heavy? Questionable, but it does feel nice. Like, it feels like a good shelf book, if that makes sense. But our first book of the day. Let's now jump into our owlcrate, adult fantasy, which tends to often lead pretty romantasy, if we're being honest with each other. And I also won't be surprised if I see this in fairyloot or illumicrate, but we have The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. I'm actually about 50% into this, I started listening to the audiobook while I was on a vacation, and unfortunately I was not able to finish it in time, so I had to give it back, and now I'm on a many weeks hold, so I'm waiting to get that back. But a lot of people are saying that the second half is when this book really picks up and gets better and kind of all comes around, which makes sense seeing as this is based off the 6 Deaths of the Saint, which again I think really comes together and ties in towards the end. So I am still kind of hopeful that I will enjoy this. Not a whole lot has happened, but I want to say about like 50% I'm on the second, maybe third iteration of the story. And if you have no context to what this is, that won't make a lot of sense to you, but that is kind of roughly where I'm at in the book. And I like it. It's so very different from what I expected, to be honest. I never really thought that I wanted a full-length novel for The 6 Deaths of the Saint, but we all loved it so much that it makes sense that the author would be like, how do I continue on with that feel? I think this is a very beautiful cover. I really enjoy the look of this. It has like that paper feel, whereas this is more, I wish I could describe textures better. It's smooth and glossy, whereas this is like a matte paper. And the back says, nothing that lives lasts forever. I just think that this is such a beautiful edition. I'm so excited for you to see the close-up of it all, because I think you'll get a better impression than I'm showing right now, but I'm into it. So we have a legend. Sir Una Everlasting was history's greatest hero, a lost girl who would draw a sword from the Heartwood and become a legend. The knight's epic feats were rivaled only by her tragic fate, a sacrifice that saved a queen and built an empire. A lie. Century later, Owen Mallory has dedicated his life to Una Everlasting, abandoning a promising scholarly career to defend his country. He comes home from war broken and weary, until he finds a reason to live in the pages of a mysterious book. A love story. Sent back through time, the historian's task is to ensure that Sir Una meets her tragic fate, but instead, Owen falls in love with the complex woman behind the legend. He doesn't know how to watch her die, or how many times he's done it before. To rewrite Una's legend, they'll have to rewrite history itself. A breathtaking quest across time and words from Alexi Harrow, the best-selling author of The Starling House. Which, I think The Starling House was kind of a so-so book for me. I really enjoyed her novella series, A Spindled Splintered and A Mirror Mended. I've enjoyed. I have not read The Once and Future Witches or 10,000 Doors of January. They are on my radar of things that I would like to get to at some point, I think, but her work is very interesting, where it sometimes works, and I think for a lot of readers it doesn't work. It's very purple prose, poetic, lush type of writing that doesn't always work, and you really have to be in the right mood for it, but everyone's loving the yearning in this, and everyone is loving the Lady Knights right now, so it's just like kind of making its rounds. I definitely would recommend this book to people that are interested in it, but I would definitely maybe try it on ebook at first, or like get an idea for the voice to see if it's something that you could jive with just in case, because she won't work for everyone. But I am really excited to have a copy of this now, especially a copy as pretty as that. It is gorgeous. Definitely gets me a little bit excited to pick up my audiobook whenever I get it back, eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later. And swiftly moving right along into the young adult. First thing that I am seeing is a bag. A study in drowning earmuffs designed with love by Atlichen and Limestones. Okay, it doesn't really get cold enough here, for one, to wear earmuffs. I also think that I look bad in hats. Always. And I have a small head. So these are properly on my ears right now. What is that space in between? Do people find these comfortable? Oh, I can't. Oh. I really am not a big hat person, and if I am a hat person, it's beanies all the way. I don't like things on my ears. Maybe it's because I wear earrings. Maybe it's because I'm sensitive to things. I can't wear over-the-head headphones either. It drives me a little bit crazy. So, they're cute though. I won't necessarily get rid of them right away. They might be, if I ever go somewhere proper cold, maybe they would work better. But like, it doesn't really snow here, so I don't really have to worry about it. I might hold on to these until next winter, and then if I don't get any use out of them and they stay in this bag, I'll probably donate them to somebody who actually would get use out of them and need them. The next thing, oh my goodness, it's coming to an end. The November Enchanted Elixir pin collection. This is inspired by Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and it says, "Hello, little bird, come to stab me again." I really need to get back into this world, this universe. I read the first book. I rather enjoyed it. It was like, I think, 3.5, 4 stars. I own all of the other ones. I own Holly and Wisteria and Foxglove. I own them all. And I have not continued. So I would very much like to do that maybe in the new year. just to revisit and complete the series since it's out. But it's gonna be so sad to see this collection go. I'm always excited to see what the new collection is going to be, but they've had some strong hits and some really strong misses. So we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have a box, and inside, a bag. Very discreet. You ain't gonna see nothing for this one. And inside, I think, is a candle inspired by One Dark Window. And that's all it says. This is from A Fiction Bath Co. and it's an exclusive for owlcrate. Ooh, that smells so nice. And it's got the little like wood wick. So it's gonna make a little crackly sounds, I think. Oh, this is delightful. Oh yeah. Now this is nice. I might have to burn this during my 24-hour readathon that I have coming up. Oh, this is lovely. This is maybe my favorite candle I've ever gotten in a subscription box. Hell yeah. One Dark Window coming through with all the stuff. And then next, okay, so we have Hello Little Bird. I'm assuming that this is also a belladonna inspired ring, which is interesting. I don't think we've gotten a ring before. It is, how do you say it? I feel like saying it's a cheap ring feels incorrect and wrong and bad, and I'm sorry for that. But it is one of those rings where you can kind of change the size of it because it's metal that can move. Does that make sense? Is that a nice way to put it? But there you have just a cute little ring with, I think, just a plant, which I'm assuming would be a belladonna. Next, maybe the most important thing we have, which is the front, the Literary Companion, a reading planner. The future is unwritten, brimming with potential. R.F. Kuang, Babel. Ooh, how nice. We've got some gold edges. So in here we have a 12 monthly calendars, 5 weekly planner spreads, 12 monthly new release trackers, 12 TBR planning sheets, 12 monthly summaries, and additional pages for a bookish about me, end of year book log, end of year wrap up, and book reviews. I'm gonna be honest, I was actually using owlcrate's planner for 25, which had like a fun little reading thing you could do. I didn't end up completing it. I think I stopped using it about May-ish. And so I'm really bad with reading journals, but my issue with them really is that I don't need pages like these where you can review your book in here. I don't need a place to log all of my pages because I have digital trackers that I do that with. Like I keep all of my notes there, which works for me a lot better. But this is generic enough that I could use this at any point. It's not dated, which I really appreciate, so I can start at any point. If I don't continue it throughout the whole year, like, it's fine. And I do appreciate that about reading journals, that they're coming out to be less dated. Helpful. But I'm still really bad at it, and I would really only use, like, the first half for, like, the weekly planning stuff rather than the review part, which is unfortunate, but I like that it's generic enough and useful for a lot of people. And then the book we have. Ooh, exciting. So here we have The House Saphir by Marissa Meyer, which is an author that I've not discovered this year, but started reading this year. I actually started reading The Lunar Chronicles this year, which is very exciting for me, and I'm hoping to finish it. We'll see if that happens, but that is the plan. This is her newest release. I think this was in the Goodreads Choice Awards, but I haven't really heard anybody read it or any reviews of this, which is always interesting. We are the witches here, Lord Saphir. It is the monsters who should be bothered by us. Okay. She's chunkier than I was expecting, to be honest. Ooh, and we have a pretty lengthy summary, which is nice. But, you know, it's your pretty generic, kind of large font, large margins, so it's not quite as long as it looks. But let me read to you what this is about. Mallory Fontaine is a fraud. Though she comes from a long line of witches, the only magic she possesses is the ability to see ghosts, which is rarely as useful as one would think. She and her sisters have maintained the family business, eking out a paltry living by selling bogus spells and conducting tours of the infamous mansion where the first of the Saphir murders took place. Mallory is a self-proclaimed expert on court Bastien Saphir, otherwise known as Monsieur Le Bleu, who brutally killed 3 of his wives more than a century ago. But she never expected to meet Bastien's great-great-grandson and the heir to the Saphir estate. Armand is handsome, wealthy, and gullible, the perfect mark. When he offers Mallory a large sum of money to rid his ancestral home of Le Bleu's ghost, she can't resist. A paid vacation at Armand's country manor? It's practically a dream come true. Never mind the ghost of murdered wives and the monsters that are as common as household pets. But when murder again comes to the House Saphir, Mallory finds herself at the center of the investigation, and she is almost certain the killer is mortal. If she has any hopes of cashing in on the payment she was promised, she'll have to solve the murder and banish the ghost, while upholding the illusion of witchcraft. Still, all that sounds relatively easy compared to her biggest challenge, learning to trust her heart, especially when the person her heart wants the most might be a murderer himself. Ooh la la. I am pretty intrigued by this one. I do enjoy a good ghost book. I am not like the biggest murder mystery fan, but I do find with the fantastical backdrops, it does help really ease me into it and makes me care a little bit more. I'm not sure what that is about, but anyway, it is nice that owlcrate has given us all full-sized books. Usually they come a bit smaller, so that's pretty impressive. Won't complain. But I am excited for this one. I do think this is one I genuinely would like to get to. All of Marissa Meyer's works really call to me. They really intrigue me. I really want to pick them up. But somehow they always end up kind of tossed to the side for other things and new sparkly releases. So I do hope to get to this in the new year at least. I hope more people will pick it up and I can hear some more reviews to kind of hype me up and get me excited for it, but I am intrigued by this one nonetheless. And then we have my 3 owlcrates, and now we can move on to the fairyloot. I think these are my adult and romantasy picks. Sometimes it's hard to tell by the size of the box. Okay, perfect. The first one we have is our adult fantasy box. I won't lie and say that I'm so excited to have this, especially because the marketing has been all sorts of off. I really thought that this was young adult. I've already read it. I had an arc of this. I actually read this. It's kind of so-so, but we have Fallen City by Adrienne Young, an author who you can't really tell, but right here on this shelf next to my Lightlark stuff is all of her young adult books that I've given all 5 stars. Something about her adult books don't intrigue me the same way, don't get me hyped. I have not read Spells for Forgetting or The Unmaking of June Farrow, so I don't know if her adult books are for me, which is kind of a shame, but Fallen City, beautiful edition, stunning cover. I won't complain with that whatsoever. It's very Roman historical. We've got 2 perspectives, 2 timelines, star-crossed lovers. I'll read you guys the synopsis and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts on it. In the great walled city of Isara, political turmoil ignites a rebellion 100 years in the making. But when the legionnaire falls in love with the magistrate's daughter, their love will threaten the fate of the city and the will of the gods. Luca Matthias has one purpose: to carry out the family name, maintaining its presence in the forum once his powerful and cruel uncle dies. But his noviceship with the city's philosopher places him in the middle of a catastrophe that will alter the destiny of his people. Maris Casperia was raised amidst the strategic maneuvers of the Citadel's inner workings, and she knows what her future holds: a lifetime of service to a corrupt city. But years of serving as a novice to the last priestess who possesses the stolen magic of the old war has made her envision a different kind of future for the city. But when she meets Luca, a fated chain of events is set into motion that will divinely entangle their lives. When a secret comes to light and throws the city into chaos, Luca and Maris hatch a plot to create a calculated alliance that could tip the scales of power. But when an execution forces Luca to become the symbol of rebellion, he and Maris are thrown onto opposite sides of the holy war. As their fates diverge, they learn they are at the center of the story the gods are writing. And even if they can find their way back to each other, there may be nothing left. The sun really came out just then, okay? But my issues with Fallen City weren't so much that it was bad or poorly written or that the characters weren't interesting, because they were. I think my issue really lied with the way it was told and structured and the timeline switches. Because you'll go from Maris before, Luca before, Maris after, Luca after, Maris before, Maris after, and it just it kind of became too much really fast. I think if this was told in just a more linear structure, I probably could have enjoyed it more, but I understand for the purposes of certain reveals that they wanted to keep from us, that like, I understand why it was told the way it was. It just did not work for me. This took me so long to read. It didn't put me in a slump, but it certainly didn't make me want to read other things. I just really struggled with this. I read it in my NetGalley vlog. You're curious about that. I really had a really hard time with this one. But it's a beautiful edition. I really like Adrienne Young, so I'm really disappointed with myself for not liking this more. I will probably get the sequel and finale to this duology when it comes out Most likely from my library. I probably won't pay for it because that's just a bit much. But it is a stunning cover. Really pretty edition. And then we have the romantasy box, which is Love is the Key. And this one I'm much more excited for. So this is To Cage a Wild Bird. This is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. I've heard pretty good things about this so far. A lot of people were pretty excited for this release. I think Cassidy read this and enjoyed it. I could also be making that up. Hard to say. This is kind of a more subtle cover than I would come to expect from romantasy picks, but it is nice. It kind of gives it like a innocent look to it, if you will. A deadly prison, a forbidden romance, and a fight for survival. In the city of Dividium, the law is simple. Commit a crime, and your punishment is a life sentence to Endlock. Raven Thorn is Dividium's most notorious bounty hunter, living on the edge of society. But when her younger brother Jed is sentenced to Endlock, Raven will do anything to save him, even if it means getting herself arrested. Trapped in a prison where danger lurks around every corner, Raven must use all her cunning and strength to protect Jed and herself, if she is to complete her perilous mission. But there's one obstacle she never expected. The prison guard who stirs something deep inside her. The man she should hate, the man whose true motives seem impossible to pin down. In a world where trust is a weapon and love is a liability, Raven can't afford for her heart to get involved. It's interesting. That synopsis really doesn't give a whole lot away. Seems very straightforward. I do find the idea and premise that like any crime committed whatsoever, so like if you stole a piece of bread from the baker, is treated the same as if you murdered somebody. You get sentenced to the same place. I'm assuming it's, did it say eternity? Like you're there forever? Yeah, life sentence. So yeah, you're just gone. I do think that's an interesting way of getting rid of crime, I guess, in your city. So I'm interested in like the politics and world building behind that. But as for like what is going on in the story, it really does not tell you anything. Like what is this mission? Is it for them to get out? Like, is that one of the rules? Is the guard going with her on the mission to make sure that she doesn't just escape? Like, I just kind of wish synopsi would give us a little bit more sometimes so that I can build up more anticipation for it and get excited to read it rather than having to always rely on reviews to tell me if something's worth it. Like if the synopsis just hooks me right away, I'd be more inclined to pick this up faster. The only reason I'm so interested in this is because of reviews, which I know like is the purpose of book people. Like I know that content creators exist to specifically talk about books and low-key hype them up, but sometimes I wish a book would do that instead, you know? Anyways, Fairyloot did not disappoint me, but I'm also not ecstatic over these picks, you know? They're so-so. But now we can jump right into the young adult and pray that we don't get any duplicates, because we've not gotten a duplicate in a hot second. Like, everyone's been so on it this year, and I'm really appreciative of that. So, the first thing that I see is the Creature Cafe Soy Candle. Iced coffee, 1 cream, 1 sugar. The package was designed by Blanca Designs. I'm not going to say that a coffee smelling candle necessarily intrigues me, but I won't knock it till I try it. Oh, okay. So they kind of messed up. You won't be able to tell very well, but the labeling got messed up. They placed it over, so there's just a row of sticky, and the lid is a little wonky. But, oh yeah, that's so sweet. Oh my god. So yeah, the Creature Cafe Soy Candle, Burn Insight, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's not giving a whole lot away, but it is sweet. Like, very, very, very sweet. I like vanilla-y scents. I like floral scents. I can do musky sometimes. I don't necessarily hate a sweet scent, but like, this one's a little overpowering. It's a little bit much, but it's nice, I guess. It's definitely one of those candles that you would give a child. Sorry to say it, but you know, like, if you're around my age, you might have grown up with those lip smackers, like the candy and soda flavored ones. If you're familiar with the chocolate flavored / scented chapsticks, it's kind of giving that. That's what the vibe is. Just overly sweet, just too indulgent. Like, I don't know if you would want to burn that for more than 3 seconds. And then the next thing is in a nice little bubble box. Here we have the world of Taria. Sorry? Is it Taria Mafi? 2026 calendar artwork by @Palin Line Art. Last year, it's actually, I think, behind me. We got the world of Stephanie Garber. You can tell that I have not changed this yet, seeing as it's December, but it's all character art, and then on the back is just like solid art for her characters, which luckily are all within the same world, so it's pretty easy to identify everybody, because she hasn't ventured out. At least at the point of that, she didn't have her adult book out. But this is the author of Shatter Me. This is the author of This Woven Kingdom. I'm familiar with her works. I don't think I've ever really said her name out loud before. So please correct me if I'm butchering her name. It's one of those things you hear so often, but then you don't really say out loud or practice it yourself. Only thing I've read from this author is This Woven Kingdom, and I didn't continue in the series because what was supposed to be, I think, a trilogy became 5 books and was getting stretched out, so I was like, I'll hold off and wait until all of them are out, and then I'll binge the series, because I did like it, the ending especially. And I have thought about doing a Shatter Me reading vlog someday, so anyways, here you go. The character arts. You guys might know who these people are better than I will, because I'm super unsure. But they're all very attractive people. So I feel as though these characters that I showed you might be from Shatter Me, whereas the summer months feel a lot more Woven Kingdom vibes. No clue about these one. All of the men kind of look similar to one another, so they could all kind of be Aaron, and I think that's the guy from Shatter Me, and that's as far as my knowledge could really go. So while this one doesn't hit quite as hard as my Stephanie Garber ones did, they're still nice, especially if I explore this author's work throughout the year. They might hit a little bit harder, but it is always fun to see what they come up with. And then we have, a new desk mat. I just had to go through the process of moving offices again. It was so fun. And I'm not against changing mine. So this is a Crimson Moth desk mat designed by Peaches, obviously. Now, I really like this book, so let's see if I like the vibe. I do like the vibe. Would I bring this vibe into my office? Probably not. And why is his hand so tan? I don't remember him looking that brown, but that's fine. Pretty sure Gideon was quite white. I do like the vibes. It really captures a lot of the essence of the story and like the time period that it's set in, and just like the magical whimsy of it and what like everything means. But at the same time, I don't think I would take this to work and be like, look, coworkers. I think it would lead to a lot more questions. Also, this one doesn't smell nearly as bad as some of the others. Some of those others smell like death. This one's not so bad. Aha! The spoiler card. This theme is Venom and Velvet. So we've got the desk mat, the calendar, the candle, and then we have overlays for our book, and then the collectible tarot cards and the book. I'm excited about this, actually. So first, I shall introduce to you the tarot cards. Here we have Roz as the Justice card and Viola as the Wheel of Fortune cards. They look very nice together. I like their color palette. I am so very excited for this new set of tarot cards. And then I guess book first, then overlay, so that we have more understandings. So here we have a book that I've been appropriately excited about. We have 7 Deadly Thorns by Amber Hamilton. I think I have the ALC from Libro FM for this book. Let There Be Darkness. I didn't know that this was young adult. For some reason I thought it was an adult romantasy, but I'm not complaining either way. Ooh, look at that. Sick. That's so sick. Focus? Focus. Please. So sick. Okay. Okay. Hello. Is this a Hermione fanfic that I don't know about? Somebody tell me. I'm gonna be so mad if it is. I am the darkness my magic destroys. Viola Sinclair has hidden her shadows, magic, her whole life. Discovery means certain death, and for the kingdom of Arago, dark magic is forbidden. When the queen finds out Viola's secret, she sends the royal assassin to kill her. He is given a cursed tattoo, 7 thorns on his arm. For 7 days he has to complete his deadly task. If he fails, he will be the one to die. The assassin is Roz, Roquelaart, entitled prince, arrogant fellow student at Vandenberg Academy, and Viola's mortal enemy. The chance to strike Viola down is Pip Ross's fingertip, but he needs something from Viola, and he's willing to spare her life and fake their engagement to get it. Forced to work together, Viola and Roz uncover terrible secrets, sinister threats, and an irresistible attraction. Can they learn to trust each other in time to save themselves and bring the light back to Aragoa? A devastating enemies to lover romantasy. Guys, this is her debut novel. Guys. Guys, help. Is this meant to be fanfic of them? Please, I thought we escaped the hell that I've been stuck in. It'd be so nice to all artists in the future if we could just get away from the ambiguously brown Hermione-looking girls with the stark white, what's his actual name? Malfoy boy. If we could get rid of this and move on from this aesthetic to be literally anything else, I would feel fantastic. It's such a pretty edition. I don't want it to be. Please say it's not so. I'm so annoyed. I really hope it's not. So now I'm going to show you the overlays and then we can kind of move on from this book, just in case. We've got our boy. We've got our girl. Girl meets boy. And lastly, girl and boy dance. They look nice, but it is giving vibes that I don't necessarily want. Guys, help. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so devastated if this book that I've been excited about with this beautiful and stunning edition and cover ends up being no better than Rose and Chains and all the others. It's so tricky with books like these where a lot of the big complaints with like the big three that came out and what people had to say about the Hermione fanfics were that they were using the TERF's work as marketing to pitch their book. This book isn't, from what I've seen, has not been pitched as fanfic of the TERF's IP, which is like cool. Kudos for that. The bar is in hell. But if I can look at the fan art alone and go, that's giving a vibe, or just read the synopsis and go, that's giving a vibe, as somebody who has only seen the movies and has never read the books and probably won't at this point, let's start making unique characters. Like, here's the thing. I don't have an issue with fanfic being traditionally published or taking an IP and twisting it and making it your own. Like, this is clearly, obviously, Snow White. And I'm not going to say this is a Snow White fanfic and that, how dare you. But with that said, it's also not separate and it's not of its own. I think that the take of Snow White and being like, oh, the huntsman is cursed and has 7 days to do it, that's interesting and that's different and unique and it's already spinning something to be its own. The characters, just off the vibes of how they look, how the art was done, the synopsis of how they're describing them, is so closely tied to original IP that they don't feel like unique and original characters, and I haven't even read the book yet. And that's just really disappointing. I like Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood has written so much Kylo Raylo fanfic that's been traditionally published, and besides the Love Hypothesis, where his name was Adam and it did feel a little bit too close to Adam Driver, beyond that one book, I can read any Ali Hazelwood and I will not feel like it is directly connected to, in any way, shape, or form, Star Wars. Why? Because it's not set in space to begin with. This is literally set at a school. Come on, let's, an ounce of creativity, please. I'm begging people. I'm very disappointed. So that's really upsetting. I shouldn't be surprised. I expect nothing less from fairyloot, who has given me 2 of the 3, I believe. So I shouldn't be surprised. It's cool, guys. Let's hopefully wash this bad taste from my mouth with a nice illumicrate, young adult and or adult, unsure. So long as House of Saphir and the Everlasting are not in this box, we're having a good month. I would love to end this video on a higher note than that one. Whoa, okay. So, our theme is Academic Rivals, November 2025. Where to put? The first thing that I'm seeing is a calendar, which got quite bent, but that's okay. It's fine. So, this artwork is done by Tamara Osborne. Oh, and it's going to be so hard to flip. Okay, give me a second. Okay, cool. I will just give you guys the cute little preview of what all of this character art looks like. How very cute. I love character artwork. It's so nice. Let's see if I know 1, maybe 2. 2 of these sound familiar. How is that possible? I'm usually so on top of these things. Okay, we've got V.E. Schwab Vicious, which I haven't read, but I know the characters well enough. 3rd book coming out. Everyone's excited. Where Sleeping Girls Lie. Oh, I did not guess that correct at all. Whoops. I should have read it. Huge trigger warnings. We've got Modern Divination, haven't read yet, is on the shelf. Okay. A Study in Drowning, haven't read yet. Oh no. I think we might have to do a challenge. The Whispering Dark, haven't read yet. Wow, the sun is just right on my head. A Dark and Drowning Tide, haven't read yet. The Scarlet Alchemist, haven't read yet. An Academy for Liars, I read this one. I could have probably guessed that if I thought about it harder. Okay, September, we have Blood Over Bright Haven. I read this one too! That's not really what I pictured the characters looking like, but that's okay. Fantastic. We've got The School for Good and Evil. That's a funny throwback. And then we have Immortal Dark. Oh my god, my babies! Guys. Is that Seiki Dawn? And I just did not wow. That's stupid of me. Oh, they look so beautiful! I love them. And then we've got Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. They look great. Still haven't read that either. And that's all of them. Okay, so I haven't done perfect, but I might, an extra little bonus challenge for myself, read some of these books in the month. I do need a work calendar. I don't know if this will be the one, though. It is nice. I will try to flatten it as best I can. Next up, Most Noble of Academics Laundry Bag. What does that mean? Literally a laundry bag. Okay, well, I don't hate it. Alfred Noble Academy. Turning House Laundry. Here's the thing. I am an adult. Oh goodness, the light. I am a full-grown adult at this point of my life. Therefore, I have a laundry basket. So I don't think I would utilize a bag like this, really. But what I might utilize it for is some of those blankets that they give us that I don't always have uses for at the time. This could be a nice little storage for that. I really feel like I should just go and get rid of this blinding sunspot on me. This video has really gone through every stage of lighting possible. Okay, next thing we have is Demons at the Gates Iron Patch, inspired by a deadly education. Okay, so here's the patch, and I want to know, you guys, what would you put this on? What would you put an iron patch that looks like this on? Because for me, the only thing I could probably justify walking around with this on it would be a tote bag, because that's just such a unique look that no one's gonna get it. But I also have not used iron patches since I was a child, because I would get small ones and I'd be like, it's so cool, and I'd put it like on a pair of pants or something, and then it would fall off not too long later. So I can't say that I have a lot of experience with iron-ons, but like, what would you do with this? For me, right now, my brain is like, throw it in your journal. Okay, the next thing we have here is the illumicrate bookcase 1000-piece puzzle. And the puzzle looks like that, which is nice. I do wonder, no, maybe? Oh, I do think this might be all of their picks, which is so funny because they're so sneaky. They said, yeah, these are all the picks for the last few years. This is the pick for this month, and then the book next to it, which is December's, there's a plant in front, so you can just barely see it. That is really interesting, and I'm so curious what that is now. But that's very cool. I actually really like this idea. I think I'm not super into puzzles, and if I was to do a puzzle, I think it'd be really fun, something like this, where it's like the many years of all of the books. Because one, now I have a list of every book that I've received from them in the last, like, however many years. And also, it's like a cool way to, like, I'm losing words. It's been too long. We were filming too long. It's a cool memory, a nice little keepsake of all the treasures. Yeah? Okay. And then that leaves the last thing. Wow, this book is heavy. Which, no duplicates! And I don't think I've heard of this. I don't think it sounds familiar, but we have A Rather Vengeful Accord by Daniel Knight. Insults, Demands, Answers. I am intrigued. Obviously, it's got an academic feel, and it's got lightning powers. I'm very, very interested. And there's masks. What's that about? I'm so excited. Okay, let's read what this is about. In Passion Glory. At the elite college of St. Pendergast, gravers raise the dead and turn corpses into unnatural abominations, while spires battle undead horrors in grand arenas, thrilling crowds with divine spectacle. Halen Kilquire would kill and resurrect anything to study graving at St. Pendergast, but Hal cannot enlist alone. The only way she can secure admission is to enter a dangerous accord with her mortal rival, Alistair Fulton, a handsome, accomplished spire, and the infuriating exiled scion of the great Fulton dynasty. As Hal and Alistair fight grisly creatures and ghastly peers side by side, Hal faces the horrors of necromancy and the revolting prospect of a romance with her own nemesis. I am even more intrigued. That is so little. What do you mean? Are they enemies because, like, destiny? Or are they enemies because they just hate each other? Like, what does it mean? Why do they get cool masks when they're fencing? What does that mean? This is our debut novel, and she is a fan of gothic, fantasy, romance, and horror, all of which will be in this book. I'm actually so excited for this. I am going to end this video very soon and honestly look up if my library has this audiobook ASAP, like right away, and I might try to fit this in to the end of the year, because this, oh, that one really did round out the entire book collection we got for me. That one intrigues me the most. So let's get into the rankings. If you're new to these videos, at the end, I like to rank what I think is going to be my favorites and my least favorites from the collections that I've received. Eventually, hopefully next year, I will actually implement these into reading vlogs. I find that it's just hard because, like, timing wise, I get a lot of audiobooks from my library and new releases are harder to get because there's longer wait lines. So it's just kind of tricky to find the time in which to do all of these, and I don't know if, like, doing it every month would be too repetitive and annoying for people. So, like, we're gonna have to, you know, fine tooth figure it out. See if, like, maybe it's a quarterly thing. I don't know. We're gonna have to workshop it a little bit next year, but I am really excited. I like the idea and concept of it. So let me give you my ranking and let's see how I feel. Okay, at the bottom, I'm going to put Fallen City by Adrienne Young because this was a 3-star read for me and I've already read it, so it feels the most authentic to put it towards the bottom. And then above this, oh, this is tricky. I'm going to have to go with Dark Sisters only because I don't know enough about this. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I haven't seen any reviews. I didn't know this existed until today. So I don't have a lot of thoughts and opinions about this one. So I think that's why I'm going to put it next in my stack. I kind of feel equal about a lot of these books. So I don't know. Maybe, oh, I don't know. Okay, controversial take. The Everlasting I'm going to put next only because I'm 50% into this and I haven't fallen in love with it. Nothing super gripping quite yet, and I know people have told me like the next 50% is like when it comes together and that's when it gets really good, but I do think that 50% into a book being this slow and taking its time does kind of, you know, put me off a little bit. So for that reason, we're gonna put this one next. And then I think, oh, Leap of Faith, I'm gonna put House of Saphir, even though this, oh no, I'm not gonna do that to myself. Now, next we're gonna do To Cage a Wild Bird, because the synopsis is not giving me enough. I don't know enough about this except for criminals go away. What more, like, you care about your brother and there's a hot guard. Like, give me more in your synopsis, okay? So for that passionate reason, it's gonna go next in my little stack here. And then I think we're gonna do, oh god, it pains me to freaking put that book higher. Next we're gonna do The House Saphir by Marissa Myers. This one really intrigues me. I actually really like the premise. I like the idea of ghosts and mysteries and a romance. I like bamboozling frauds. I think that's a fun concept too. So for that, I'm gonna put it next. Against my better judgment, I am going to put Seven Deadly Thorns second to last, or second to first, because as annoyed as I am about the fact that this is more than likely based off 2 original characters that a TERF wrote, it does sound good. And had I known earlier to today that this was a potential Hermione fanfic, I probably would not have any interest in sharing it with you or talking about it. I found out live time with you guys. I would have picked this up from the audiobook ALC that I had before getting a physical copy. So, like, it was something I was already going to read. So, you know, I'm a little bit perplexed with the whole concept because it's not marketed as TERF IP. I'm not as mad about it as some of the others that were so directly connected to that work. So, like, I'm not mad at this one, but I would just like it to not be, you know? I would like more creativity and uniqueness to my stories, but for that, I am excited for it. It does sound intriguing. I like the idea of a cursed huntsman going after Snow White. Like, come on. And then the tippy top, the best of the best. This is my 5-star prediction. I've never heard of this book before. It happened to fall into my lap just today. A Rather Vengeful Accord is my most anticipated of this month, of the next 2 weeks before the year ends. Perhaps might have to be the first book that I read of January. We'll have to wait and see what the holds look like, but this one really excites me. So it's going at the tippy top. And here we have the heavy stack. All the same size, all beautiful books. We're gonna, oh gosh, put it here before it falls on me and I get hurt. But it is nice that they're all the same size. They look gorgeous. They've got a very, like, similar but kind of muted color palette going on, I'm not upset about it. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Merry Christmas to you all, and to you all, good night. Bye!